Welcome back to Dynamic Digital World. It has been a long time since we've done an episode of this. In fact, I do believe it comes up to almost 3 months. I'm so sorry it's been such a long break. I have been working basically all summer and I've now had college, so I've just been trying to find a time when I can actually record one of these with a few minutes. And today is the day we are back. We are doing this, and let's get into the news. So Windows 11 is out. The iPhone 13 has been announced, still with the lightning port. iPad, we got a new iPad mini and the same standard iPad, of course, but we have got a good few things to go over, so let's get started. My name is Luke, this is Dynamic Digital World, and let's jump into our first story. So first things first, we have to talk about Windows 11. Today is Windows 11 launch day, even though it ended up being yesterday. I was kind of preparing for this today, but today is launch day, and wow, okay. I've kind of seen 2 or 3 different narratives right now, so don't upgrade yet, let the bugs go, fair enough. Upgrade immediately, also fair enough. I've been using it on the beta channel, I haven't noticed any instability. I'm also using dev channel build, again, very little instability. There is a bit here and there, but that's expected in dev channel. In fact, you want it a bit, because it shows they are adding in new features. And then there's the one that's slightly more confusing, which is just don't upgrade, it's not worth it. Now, I see where some people are coming from with that, however, I will actually be talking about that a bit more. However, let's dive straight in to all of the awesome new features. So, firstly, with Windows 11, you have the new taskbar and the new start menu. Now, these are things that everyone is aware of. Everyone kind of knows exactly how it works, how it doesn't work, because it's such a major change compared to what everyone is used to from Windows 10 and prior versions. First things first, the start menu is now centered by default. That is a massive change that definitely does take some getting used to. Again, over the last however long it's been in beta, I've been using that daily. I only got used to it a couple weeks ago, I'd say. But it is so cool. I actually love the new start menu. Like, at first I wasn't a massive fan due to the lack of customizability, and I'm still not a fan of that. Microsoft, if you're listening to any of us, please allow some more customizability in this start menu. Whether that's allowing people to get rid of recommended, make recommended the only thing, make pinned the only thing, or possibly even add widgets into the start menu itself. Please allow us some more customizability with this. I'm hoping to see it coming in the next few builds. So that's major. We've also got changes to the entire settings window. The general aesthetic, one thing you will notice the second you start using it is everything is rounded. Every corner on Win32 and UWP apps that use the WinUI framework is now rounded. Every button is rounded. That goes for installers that were published before the beta was released and installers published after the beta was released. If it uses the WinUI code, Windows is actually really clever and just adapts it for that Windows 11 curves and circular motion and kind of squircle, if you want to call it that, sort of rounded off design, and it just makes everything look much smoother, much nicer on the eyes. Theme transitions, much better, going from light mode to dark mode to light mode. So smooth. Of course, this could be thanks to the PC I'm currently running, but personally I've experienced this on my laptop as well. Both of them have had very smooth transitions between themes whenever I do test it. I don't test it very often because I like the dark theme, but when I do test it seems to be perfect. So I just think it's incredible really the way that this is all working. I mean, Windows 11 is actually quite cool. Like, I am still going to say it's a minor upgrade. I will never be able to call this a major new version of Windows. Actually no, that's a lie. I'm going to call it I don't know actually, it's kind of weird. It's kind of like a Windows 7 in a way. Like, I know everyone looks at Windows 7 as a great savior that took over from Vista and redesigned everything, but it is more like Vista's twin than it isn't. And I feel like Windows 11, in terms of what it actually does, is more user-facing compared to stuff under the surface. And that's okay. A lot of people are kind of having a go at Microsoft for doing a new version number when they haven't significantly changed their code base. Like, Apple changes their version number and version name every single year now. It's not that big. Windows does it every 5 to 6 years. Allow them to do some rebranding every once in a while. Not like we're going to get Windows 12 next year, Windows 13 the year after. That's not how this is working. What's also quite good is that I have just noticed my computer being a lot more snappy since installing the Windows 11 beta. I don't know what Microsoft has done, whether it's eating up less RAM or something else, but it is much nicer in terms of that sort of thing. And I definitely do prefer it. However, with all of the benefits that come with Windows 11, there are a good few negatives that come along with it. Nothing to do with UI personally. I personally really love the UI and the UI aesthetic. But I am annoyed at there being no tabs in File Explorer. I've solved that with a third-party program called Groupie by Stardock. Amazing program. I have it on my desktop and on my laptop. It actually works like a charm for me in multiple areas, whether that's work, education, just general stuff at home. I love using Groupie for everything. And then there's also the major system requirements issue. Now this, Microsoft have absolutely bitten themselves on the head with all of this. Like, I understand why they've done it, because it makes their statistics completely true. Sorry, let me get rid of those notifications. It makes everything completely true what they're saying regarding security, but the fact is that they are actually shutting a significant portion of people out from getting Windows 11. Like, I recently got a new laptop, and only recently did I actually realise that I would not have been able to get Windows 11 on my old laptop. I just realised that recently because I don't believe that laptop had the specs necessary to run Windows 11. That is a scary thing. Like, if you're used to, say you're a Windows 7 or Windows 8 user and you just kind of click that upgrade to Windows 10 button, that is not how it works anymore. You have to meet specifications and you have to meet guidelines. Apple does this, and Apple actually does this every 5 to 6 years. They just kind of cut out a few Macs and stuff, and to be fair, they support Macs for a very long time, but Windows users are very as a Windows user, I'm not used to seeing this from Windows itself. I'm used to seeing it from Android, but I'm not used to seeing it from Windows, and that was a massive shock to hear just how strict these requirements were going to be. Now, there is a PC health check app, so for example, you maybe have a desktop, you can kind of see where you're not meeting those requirements and possibly just upgrade what you need to upgrade, because that will be cheaper. But with the global chip shortage currently going on, again, Microsoft biting themselves in the foot by announcing stuff during the global chip shortage. It just makes no sense as to why they would do this. Like, I always feel like they kind of said, okay, you know what, we've got that leak build, now we have to react with the official announcement and release this year, which is kind of going to bite them in the foot a bit, because people are not going to be able to upgrade to Windows 11 instantly, obviously. But I think there's a lot of benefits that are coming with Windows 11 that do overrule the negatives, even though there are a lot of negatives. Now, let's go over some of the kind of... Actually, no, before we go on to features within Windows 11, the store in Windows 11, let's go over the new Microsoft Surface products that were announced on the 22nd of September. This is actually, these devices are beautiful. I'm actually going to use the word beautiful on them, to be honest, because I'm just such a big fan. Surface Pro X and Surface Pro 8 now share the same design. Finally, they actually did it and gave them the same design. So you don't have those big bezels on the Surface Pro 8 like you do on Surface Pro 7. You've got the same sorts of bezels as you did of a Pro X, which is much nicer. The Go still has the same design as it previously did, I do believe. That I'm not really too surprised by. It's their budget one, they're not going to be investing a massive amount in that. I personally, I'm looking at an image of it now. It's not terrible, but there are still fairly big bezels. They also announced the Surface Duo 2, which is actually quite a surprise to me. I wasn't really expecting them to announce a new version of the Duo. Just the first one didn't really take off, but no, they have announced it, and it actually does look quite good. They did take on a lot of criticisms from the original, and it now is just a much better experience, I believe. So you kind of got this new Hinge notification area where you can see all your notifications. You've got a revolutionary Hinge, apparently, according to Microsoft. I'm literally just watching their video right now. I believe the screen sizes and screen bezels are still the same. I don't believe they've changed anything about those. No, I believe there are some more cameras on there though as well, and it's quite a good device to be fair. And it improves on the areas that the original was lacking, especially with specs and processing power. It now comes with a flagship 888 5G processor, a triple lens camera, stereo audio, NFC for contactless payments, and just a few other things that just make it a lot better. So it's definitely good to see them doing this, although it is still $1,500 US, so quite expensive. However, it's still impressive to see them kind of just going on with this again a year later, announcing a new version. The biggest change and the biggest upgrade though, and wow, is this. I'm sorry, people are saying that this is not an original device. People are saying that this is just a rip-off of another device. I'm sorry, but I have to disagree with you. Like, I have seen devices that sort of act like this. We've seen HP Folio, yes. We've seen a couple of others, yes. But the way that they actually act is very different to the way those other ones act. Like, this one is not a fabric. This is a metallic unibody design. And when it's in just standard laptop mode, someone looking at it would not be able to tell that it wasn't just a standard laptop. It sits completely flush with the back. There is no kickstand that you have to have out when you're using it in laptop mode. Just completely flush. It doesn't look like it's anything but a laptop. And then you can just kick it out and use it like in either studio mode, in touch mode, or in studio mode, which is basically the tablet mode, but they're calling it studio. Like, because the screen is very similar to when you have the Surface Studio, the desktop screen kind of down. So that is why they are using that term. But it's just absolutely incredible, these new devices. I love the look of them. They look much nicer. And this new Surface Laptop Studio is an absolute powerhouse. It's incredible. You can have an 11th Gen Intel Core H35 processors and NVIDIA GeForce RTX GPUs. Now, with that said, it does start at a price of $1,600 US, which actually is only $100 US more than the Duo, which, when you actually put that into perspective, is kind of crazy. But it's actually awesome. Also, they now have Thunderbolt 4 on the Pro 8, and I believe they have Thunderbolt 4 on the Laptop Studio. I may be wrong about that. I may be wrong. It doesn't say anything about it on here, but it wouldn't surprise me if they do. I just can't remember. But they say they've been working on it for a few years now, which is definitely good to see. So that's the Surface devices, and that's kind of the overview of Windows 11. I am obviously going to be talking about the iPhones in a minute, because even though they are the most boring announcements I've ever seen, I will mention them because they should be mentioned. In terms of getting a Windows 11, there are kind of a few ways that you can do it. Either you can enroll in the release preview program for Windows Insider. This is the easiest way to do it, I'd say. And then just download Windows 11 through there. Or if you're lucky, then you'll get the upgrade to Windows 11 instantly on your computer today through Windows Update. And I personally would definitely recommend people clicking that and upgrading as soon as possible after a week or so for bugs to be officially released. Yeah, it's definitely worth upgrading. It just depends on when you want to do the upgrade, really. But I say upgrade as soon as you can. Now, if you don't have it available to you, but you would like to upgrade, you can go to microsoft.com/software-download. And then you click on the Windows 11 page, and then follow the instructions on there for how to upgrade to Windows 11. I will have a link to that in the description, but please don't click on that link. Type it in specifically. I don't want people clicking on links because then they know they are typing in specific links that they go to. It's really important that people start to get in the habit of not clicking links, but of typing in a link itself. Because whilst I'm not the kind of person who would do this sort of thing, lots of other people would be likely to, say, hide another link behind the link that they're showing. It is easy to do and it's very easy to spoof. So please be careful with that sort of thing and type it in yourself. I will have what you need to type in the description, but you will not be able to click it to go to the webpage. You will have to type it in if I can do that myself. But yeah, I'd say that's probably everything for Windows 11. So let's take a look at the iPhones. I haven't really given them a good look, so I will actually do that as I'm reading this off there. And I'll just do it for Apple Tutoring. But basically there are 4 new models: the iPhone 13 mini, the iPhone 13, the iPhone 13 Pro, and the iPhone 13 Pro Max. Now, one of the actually quite good things that I like about the iPhone 13, because I'm not an iPhone hater, and in fact I do quite like the iPhones. I'm just, Apple's walled garden currently still too walled up for me to actually swap over. In a couple of years I think it'll be brought down a lot, and I will be willing to upgrade. No, just to switch over if they make it better. Like, now that they have the app library, I'm already considering it, but most likely I'm going to stick with Android for a good few years. So let's go over the iPhone 13 and 13 mini. So these two, I do believe, mostly have the same features. So they have their most unusual camera system, apparently. Durability, front and center, edge to edge. They have the A15 chip in them. That is a very good chip, and also a massive leap in battery life, apparently. Now, this is literally just me scrolling down through Apple's webpage, so anyone who's ever been on there will know this basically means nothing. But they do have ceramic shield on there, as they did with the iPhone 12 series. They have the same flat edge design, and the Mini has a 5.4-inch display, whilst the standard has a 6.1-inch display, both of which are a Super Retina XDR display. Water resistant, I'm assuming IPX68, I will double check. Let's take a look at the camera. So the cameras are now placed diagonally. They're calling it a massive camera upgrade. Let's take a look at what they're doing. So basically the ultra-wide camera reveals more detail in dark areas of photos, with the new wide camera capturing 47% more light. And they also have optical image stabilization within there. So it's very good. And they also do have a new cinematic mode, which is quite cool. I do like it. It just shifts focus from one subject to another when it knows it needs to. So it's quite handy that the iPhone can kind of do that for people who are maybe recording a scene on their iPhone for whatever reason. I don't think anyone's going to be recording a feature film on here, but it looks good. And you can also adjust the depth and stuff after you shoot, so don't worry about not being able to edit it and post it. That is something that concerns you. but you will have to edit it on the iPhone. More camera upgrades, or not upgrades, just the same as the camera. So you've got portrait mode as always. I think everything else is mostly the same, if I'm brutally honest about it. Like, it's not a massive upgrade, that's why I wasn't really going to talk about it. I don't think I would. So there are things called camera styles or photographic styles. So you can do things like use vibrant to make photos bright and vivid, rich contrast for darker shadows and deeper colours. But overall, the front camera has all the same features. A15 Bionic powers Face ID, same as it was before. iPhone 13 does now start at 128GB for all storage, which is good, a nice upgrade from 64 being provided before. And the notch is also smaller. I can't remember the stat now. I'll see if they have it on here. They don't appear to have the stat about that on there, which I'm surprised about actually. That's a nice thing to do. I believe it's somewhere around the 15% mark if I had to take a guess. Now, there is one quite cool thing though that isn't in relation to that. Or, actually no, not cool, but just something else. There's 2.5 hours more battery life on the iPhone 13. I'm assuming that's compared to the iPhone 12. Again, this is Apple, they don't give me that specification on their website. And 1.5 hour more than the iPhone 13 mini. So let's take a look at where that's actually coming from quickly, because I want to know where those stats are coming from. So where is it? It's at the very bottom. Yeah, compared with previous generation iPhone models. So yeah, that's quite good. Also, they are IP68 water resistant. Yeah, same as always, basically, just kind of the standard you expect in the industry. But let's take a look at the iPhone 13 Pro and Pro Max, because from what I understand, they kind of got a few more of the major features, which would make sense. They're the flagships. So let's see what we've got with them. So the 13 Pro and Pro Max, eventually, if it actually wants to let me scroll through them, have a much better camera system. Display, I believe the display is actually 120Hz now on the Pro series. So let's just find it. Okay, let's start with cameras. Apple seems to be really hyping up their cameras this year. So where are the stats? Apple. Quick tip, on your product page, include statistics. Okay, let's go to tech specs. So they both start at 128GB. The Pro has a 6.1-inch display, the Max has a 6.7-inch display. Both models have the standard things that you'd expect. They both have 120Hz, as I said before, and are IP68 resistant. Here we go, here's the cameras. So you got a 12 megapixel camera system for telephoto, wide and ultra wide cameras. Telephoto has a 2.8 aperture, wide has a 1.5 aperture, ultra wide has a 1.8 aperture with a 120-degree field of view. You've got Apple Pro RAW, and I do believe I thought I saw ProRes. Yeah, ProRes video recording up to 4K at 30 FPS. However, if you only have 128GB of storage, they do limit you to 1080p. I'm assuming that's just due to space constraints. So, all in all, it's kind of the same as it always was. A little bit better, a few minor upgrades, but nothing major. Of course, they both come with iOS 15, which has a few neat new features, but again, nothing major. So, honestly, I'd say that is probably about everything for today's episode. Thank you everyone so much for listening, and I'm sorry it's been so long since I last recorded. It has been hectic around just school and everything, trying to fit everything in, but I am back with this episode. Hopefully another episode within the month, I'm hoping. Fingers crossed. No promises. But anyway, thank you for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.